From national security to global corruption, this is the Muckrakers on today's News Talk, TNT.
Well, welcome along to the Muckrakers with me, Andrew Eborn. And here on the Muckrakers, we pledge to continue tackling the most pressing and controversial issues of the day, shining more light and less heat on the matters that really, really matter to you. And today I'm joined by Taylor Hudak, all the way over in Hungary still. And Basil, are you still in Brighton?
No, I'm down in Somerset, Andrew.
God, there's no tying you down, is there? How much we try. It's like, and congratulations to us on the Muckrakers. Last time we got together, we predicted not only Starmageddon, but the exact number that the Liberal Democrats would get for their seats, which was 72%. It is extraordinary. We keep doing that here on the Muckrakers, and we're going to keep doing that. The more you feed us, the more we're going to be able to do that. But I want to look today at the foreign policy and what that means. Now Keir is in control. What's going to happen on the worldwide stage? Let's start with you, Basil.
Good morning, Andrew. Hello, Taylor, and good day to our viewers and listeners all around the world. Well, Labour are promising a lot. It remains to be seen how much they accomplish. First of all, the Foreign Office has traditionally run UK foreign policy, with governments only able to influence slightly around the edges. I think that's been the case for most of the last 50 years, really. Nevertheless, there will be a difference in emphasis, a change of personnel, obviously, different personal relationships. And David Lammy, the incoming Foreign Secretary, has already signalled he wants a reset with Brussels and the European Union. Closer ties, particularly a new security pact. Quite what that's supposed to achieve, I've absolutely no idea. But also greater cooperation on things like holidays, recognising both the European and British professional qualifications, so that doctors, for example, can work in the European Union and vice versa. There's also the looming question of the biometric passports, which are going to be introduced in the EU and may well cause significant further delays for British passport holders going abroad. So they want to try and smooth that out so that, as experienced in the last few months as a British passport holder, that you do have to queue up for longer with the other passports, whereas the EU passport holders all waltz straight through. But depending on where you go, that's 10 or 15 minutes of inconvenience at most. Hardly a sort of game-changing issue. The Irish Taoiseach has said that he's open to a reset with Britain, but the return to free movement is off the table, as is Britain rejoining the EU. Lammy has said that there's no question of, the Schengen area type arrangement for Britain. That is reserved exclusively for countries that are members of the European Union. We all know that Starmer got into a lot of hot water, and rightly so, for giving Israel the green light to genocide when he said Israel had the right to cut off food, water and power to the Gaza Strip. Well, in the light of the fact that the Lancet magazine is now suggesting that as many as 186,000 Palestinians have been killed since October the 7th, we can expect to see some slight shift there as well. Not nearly enough. Starmer has said that the incoming Labour government will recognise a Palestinian state. To be honest, that's frankly a bit of a side issue. What's more important is whether or not they'll stop arms sales to Israel or perhaps even impose sanctions. I doubt that. But they have indicated that they will not pursue the outgoing Conservative administration's attempts to block the ICC's investigation of Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant with regard to issuing arrest warrants for them. Believe it or not, the Conservative government under Sunak were challenging the ICC's authority and jurisdiction over Israel in an attempt to delay that investigation, and Labour have signalled that they're going to drop that. So it remains to be seen whether they do or not. So, slightly closer to Europe, slightly more critical of Israel. That's probably the most we can hope for from what is ultimately an Atlanticist incoming Labour government. The days when the Labour Party wanted to withdraw from NATO or unilateral nuclear disarmament, but they're long since passed. The Starmer government are committed to continuing to fund the war in Ukraine, supply Zelensky with weapons, increase our contribution to NATO via an increased defence budget, all the usual stuff that we had with the Tories.
No, fascinating. So I'm very interested, actually. I mean, with the new cabinet that we've got, the UK's new Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, he once called Trump a neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath. Now, Trump is not very forgiving, is he? How do you think that's going to pan out? I'll start with you, Basil.
Well, Lammy's been reaching out to Trump, actually. They've had some contact in the weeks running up to the election with, of course, the proviso that, we need to work with everybody. And in fact, Labour have singled out the relationship with the United States as being particularly important, the so-called special relationship. So, yeah, I don't think Lammy will be enamoured of Trump and vice versa. But if Trump wins, they've got to work together. It's as simple as that.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Well, you'll remember that on the 14th of October 2022, the British tabloid newspaper, the Daily Star, began a live stream of an iceberg lettuce saying who was going to last a little bit longer, Liz Truss or the iceberg lettuce. And I thought with Biden and all the talk about Amendment 25, which we did a sort of deep dive into last time, we should start our own little bet, because obviously he's good. And I thought the most appropriate thing might be an orange. So working on that sort of basis, if you can have a look, we can have the orange versus Biden, which is going to survive a little bit longer, and we'll check that. I thought it could be rather good because we could do this with Trump as well. The colour's purely coincidental, but we'll start that now. Biden versus the orange.
Actually, after the debate disaster, the next public appearance Biden made, he was more orange. They'd obviously taken him to a tanning salon to give him a bit of a bake because he looked so drained. So it's entirely fitting, Andrew.
Entirely fitting. We will keep monitoring this. It's got to be good. There you go.